You're listening to Unpacked with PMMI, where we share the latest packaging and processing industry insights, research, and innovations to help you advance your business.
Hi, and welcome to Unpacked with PMMI. I'm your host, Sean Riley. On this episode, we're joined by experts from Festo as they come on to talk about how they're working with PMMI to tackle the manufacturing workforce challenge through training and certifications. We also break down why the skills gap might not be what it seems and how it connects to the pace of new technology that's emerging in our industry. Let's have a listen.
So with all the fancy introductions out of the way, welcome to the podcast, Carolyn and Steve.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All the pleasure is all ours. So I wanted to kick things off by getting sort of an overview of what's the driving force behind Festo being so active in helping the future workforce.
Yeah, because Festo has a long history of doing just that. The Festo didactic team, which is the training division of Festo, was started in 1965 by the Stoll family because they understood that to be effective in the industry, you have to have a qualified and educated workforce. So the Festo team has always been focused on training and educating workforce because they know that's an important part of the way industry works.
And just to add to that a little bit, so when Festo started in the pneumatic space, they understood that the industry didn't really understand pneumatics at the time. I don't know if you're familiar, but Festo started as a wood company. And when they rolled into pneumatics, they realized that it was a new technology and that it would require training. And so as Festo is now celebrating their 100-year anniversary, Festo Didactic this year is also celebrating their 60-year anniversary. So it's been a long tradition to provide training and development for industry to make sure that they have the skills they need to be productive.
At a time like this in our manufacturing history where we have such a issue with the workforce in terms of not having enough workers and stuff like that, having skilled workers is obviously very important. So keeping that in mind, what inspired the collaboration with PMMI on workforce development initiatives? Specifically, we could talk about, I guess, the PMMI mechatronics certifications. Like, how did that whole relationship come about?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really what it is we recognize that certifications and credentials are a big part of recognizing the skills and competencies that our employees have. We saw PMMI had the mechatronics program, and I looked at it and saw that we aligned to it really well. And so what I did was I got with Kate and talked about aligning to them and becoming a partner with PMMI. And we aligned our curriculum and our equipment to the competencies and topics that are in there. And we have now have a program that allows us to be able to support the mechatronics program in all the aspects and facets of the mechatronics certifications that PMMI has.
So the program actually existed first and you stumbled upon it and thought it would be a good alignment with Festo?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had a long relationship with PMMI through our automation group, but I found that these certifications, and I reached out to PMMI and said, hey, I think we can do something good together. We talked about it and found out that we could, and we've developed a good relationship from that.
So now we have this relationship. What specifically in the packaging and processing kind of workforce is this partnership looking to fix, looking to address?
Yeah, so the skills gap has been a problem forever, and I actually don't call it a skills gap. I call it a technology boom. So interestingly enough, I was at the Air Force Institute of Technology working there for a while. And then when I went over to the Air Force Museum here in Dayton, Ohio, I saw this placard and it said back in World War II, that technicians couldn't keep up in the aircraft space. And so that's when they started to have demarcated roles in aviation. And so because you were either a mechanic or an electrical person at that point, because they couldn't keep up with the advancement in technology.
Okay.
And it hit me then that the skills gap that we keep talking about, and I've been in this industry for 15 years now, and it's been the same conversation, skills gap. We don't have qualified people.
100%.
And so I do think it's a technology boom. So as our machinery and our technology has increased, the need to upskill and maintain the facilities has increased. And the classes or the programs that we're trying to keep the food and processing and packaging departments going are just basic mechatronics or basic technical skills. It's electricity, it's PLCs, it's mechatronics, fluid power, mechanical. It's all the basic skills still, just with a little more advanced technology associated with it. And so that's what we're really looking to accomplish, is to make sure that we have all the employees upskilled and able to keep the production going and keep the uptime up rather than downtime.
Which we definitely do not want.
No, that
downtime.
costs money.
Yes, exactly. Is there a way to get into maybe some specifics on how these programs ensure that the students they're going to be the next generation workforce that we desperately need? We need their skills to be up to par. How do these programs make sure that they're up to spec on the latest automation and robotics type trends?
First, we continually evaluate the content that is in these. But really, a lot of it is not the content, because the key competencies and topics that are really timeless, it's the application of them and how they're put together in the way that they're applied, which is becoming increasingly complex. So we really focus on the key competencies and those core competencies that every future employer needs to know. And then we allow the industry to guide us as to what are the specific competencies and topics they're going to need to take those key competencies and use them in their jobs. But if they have a good foundation, then they can build their career from that. And one of the things the mechatronics certifications do that PMMI has put together is it really does emphasize those competencies that are needed, regardless of what their role or job is in the facility. If it's related to a technical aspect of the process, it's probably covered in these certifications.
Not only do the colleges work very closely with the industry around them to make sure that there's alignment in the programs, but the equipment that the colleges are using when partnering with Festo are using real equipment that they might encounter on the shop floor, right? You're using Festo cylinders, you're using Festo valves within the training platforms. That being said, the training that we are offering, or the programs and the alignment that we have, has really nothing to do with Festo. So although we're using Festo product, we're not promoting Festo as the end all be all, right? We are doing technology skills and technical skills, not Festo sales.
And another thing on that too is that one of the things in this education and training that we do with these competencies, and one of the things that the mechatronics certifications do really, is they ask the student to demonstrate. So having knowledge is one thing, but to be able to actually apply that knowledge is really key. As Carolyn said, they're going to actually apply that knowledge in a way that they will in the future be able to be applying when they go to support the industry that they're working in.
It's interesting. I didn't realize that it could go across other people's platforms and stuff like that. Because like you said, they're core skills. They're not how to use Festo equipment skills. And that's a benevolent take to have on Festo's part.
Yeah. And look, obviously, we would love for everybody to be using Festo. We do think we make a fabulous product that helps machines continue to operate. But if you're using one of our competitors, it doesn't matter. You still need the skills, and we're happy to help you obtain them.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are a key integrator, so we do recognize that we are in a part of a whole. So integration is a big deal as far as that goes.
Do we have any success stories, or whether it be students or schools or circumstances that have benefited from this partnership that we can reference?
A major beverage company that uses this for all of their technicians that they have across the country and are looking to apply it actually even in Europe. We have several automotive programs that are using this as part of their process for training their employees and their technicians. We have a tire company that uses it on a regular basis that has endorsed it and teaches all of their industrial technicians these competencies and topics. We see that it adds value to industry because they aren't necessarily looking for the name on the certification. They're looking what the certification is delivering to them and the topics and competencies that are delivered. And the reason why the PMMI ones are good and effective is because the spectrum of the topics and competencies that the employers are going to be glad that their employees have.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know and understand electrical, mechanical, PLCs, fluid power, all of those things. They need to know and understand those things and to be effective. And then they can build on that for specific applications within whatever industry that they're supporting.
Fascinating. So it goes across manufacturing, which is great because it's something that we definitely need right now in the manufacturing sector. This has been the kind of information that I was looking for. And I just had one more question that I'd like to throw out. Is there ways that can grow to solve additional challenges that are either occurring now or that we might foresee for the future in our industry?
Yeah, absolutely. As industry continues to automate and as things continue to develop, I think that Festo and PMMI can continue to grow and maybe go beyond the fundamentals that we're looking at right now. So there's definitely room for growing. And I think that we can utilize the experience from both Festo being a company for 100 years, PMMI's experience, and other industry leaders, and create programs and pathways for employees to just continue to grow and succeed and to keep production operational. As we consider the onshoring of businesses here into the U.S., I think the demand is only going to continue to increase. And so I would just say to companies that are out there that, now is not the time to skimp on training and development, because you're only putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're not investing in your people, even though it might be a struggling time with the economy right now. So I think there's definite room for growth, and I would love to partner and grow it more. And I think we can.
Yeah, and one of the things that Festo Didactic does, because it is our business, is we're continually evaluating and working with our automation group and our custom solutions folks that we have also here on staff, we're looking to recognize what industry needs next. What is it that they're going to require as automation becomes increasingly complex? So we do continually innovate new training. Again, it all starts on that foundation, but then it expands into some of the specifics that they might need in robotics or in Internet of Things type communications that they would need in their MES and EPR systems. So all of those things we're continually looking at and continually updating and upgrading so that we stay relevant and our education and our training stays relevant to the industries we're supporting.
Beautiful. I love that. And that was the perfect kind of summation to our conversation. We took it from beginning to end and looking to the future. So I really want to, again, thank you both for taking time out of your day to come on here and talk with us about this. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Unpacked with PMMI. If you liked what you heard, be sure to follow or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. That way, you won't miss any of the industry insights coming your way. While you're there, we'd really appreciate a rating or review. Want more? Visit pmmi.org/podcasts for all of our past episodes and additional resources. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.